It's not easy to do what you did. You made my men look like a bunch of minimum wage mall cops. That's hurtful. Would you like to tell me where you received your training? Afghanistan? Chechnya? Who are you?
So, you know, I don't know if you saw, but in the hallway, they have like a hammer that's magnetized to like a rock.
Oh, right.
And, you know, every once in a while, they'll push a button and someone can be able to pull it out. But I was surrounded by beautiful girls, and I went over there, you know, very...
How'd you, yeah?
And it didn't pull it. So I was humiliated. So I thought, I have the chance to sit with you. I brought a hammer.
Sure.
And I thought if I could take the hammer from Thor himself, I might be able to redeem myself.
And we like some kind of fight sequence? Or
Yes, well, I just thought you hold on to it as tight as you can.
And then you take it. Or you try to. All right. Sure.
There you go, my friend.
Okay, so...
Right. Prepare yourself. Get in character.
I'm going to grip this thing pretty well, though, so you're going to have to...
As you should.
Pull it.
I'm using all my Thor strength.
Okay. Well, succeeded, mate. No? Look at that. Well done. Good for you. Rather humiliating for me, though, since I was supposed to be some kind of god, and that's
It's okay.
been put to
whenever
bed now.
you get the call that they're recasting the Avengers...
Well, that may have just happened, just here in this interview. You might have to go off to Albuquerque in a couple of weeks and start shooting.
I have sacrificed much to achieve peace. For through your arrogance and stupidity, you have opened these peaceful realms and innocent lives to the horror and devastation of war.
One of the big things that you have to deal with as a father is dealing with his arrogance and kind of dealing, you know, getting him to learn humility. And you've worked in this business so long, and you've worked with so many different actors, not naming specifics, but if you come across an actor who seems a little bit more arrogant than they should, how do you deal with that? How do you work alongside that?
I just stay out of the way, you know, do my scene with them and then disengage, disconnect. Mm-hmm. And most actors are pretty straightforward. I think arrogance comes out of fear. But I don't think I've ever, once or twice I think insecurity and all that. But I think this guy, Chris Hemsworth, is terrific because that's the last thing he is. He's not only very talented and looks terrific, but has a great humility about him. And I know it's just, don't get me wrong, it's a kind of wholesomeness. It's like Ken Branagh. It's a kind of four-square directness. No flurries, no flourishes, just direct. Come on, learn your lines, do it, and show up. And that's what I think is good. And we had a couple of scenes together, and no, I've never had any. I think he's terrific, and Ken is, and it's very interesting because Ken Branagh, the director, because of his great experience as an actor and having directed many films before, Hamlet was a big production, and Henry V, treats the crew with great respect and wouldn't put up for a moment with unprofessionalism. People showing up late or coming on with attitude, he wouldn't put up with that. And he didn't have to because everyone wants to work with him. And when you have a good director, I suppose like Clint Eastwood or Woody Allen or you want to work, or Scorsese, whoever they are, you want to work with them because they're going to deliver the goods. And Ken is very like Spielberg in a way. He's quite painstaking. He'll do a number of takes, quite a few takes, only to get the best out of the actor. And you got a great sense of humour. That helps.
You are a vain, greedy, cruel boy. You are an old man and a fool!
You're unworthy!
Father.
And now take from you your power! And I cast you out!
I was trying to figure out how I could fit myself into the Avengers, and then someone clearly pointed out that I'm not strong enough to be Hulk or Thor. that I don't know enough about technology to be Iron Man, and that I'm not like clean cut enough to be Captain America. So then someone pointed
You
out,
look very clean cut to me.
so yeah, I thought so too, but
Yeah,
they said because
yeah.
I had stubble, they're like, oh, Captain America doesn't.
Have you heard of Gillette?
Right? Just
Yeah, just take it out.
this
Yeah.
interview is sponsored by Gillette. But they said someone pointed out, well, you could be a villain. I thought, well, that could be
Yeah.
kind of fun.
You actually, your eyes are bluer than mine. Yeah.
Blue eyes is
Yeah,
something
I think
that.
must be the icy blue eyes. I mean, that's surely a factor.
Well, I wanted
Do
to
they
talk.
turn red on demand?
Should they?
I guess so.
Then
yeah.
yes, they do.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yes, they do. So, but I wanted to see, like, if I'm thinking for the Avengers, because I know that you're going to be there.
I am going to be there.
Me and you together.
That's a great idea. As soon as we're done, I'll call Joss Whedon and I'll say, listen, I've met this guy. I think,
Jake Hamilton from Houston.
Yeah, Jake Hamilton from Houston. I cannot carry this on my own. I need Jake to be my wingman together, you know.
What can we expect out of the Avengers? What can you tell me, man?
All I can say is Loki will be back with big plans, and it will take 8 superheroes to stop him.
Hey yo.
Hey yo.
That teaser sponsored by Gillette.
Please open your eyes.
Oh no, this is Earth, isn't it?
Where did it come from?
I was looking over my favorite superhero movies, and for every Dark Knight, there's a Catwoman. There's a movie that doesn't really connect with people.
Yeah.
Whenever did you look at movies that worked and thought about what made them work, or more importantly, did you look at movies that maybe didn't work and try to see what didn't work with other superhero movies?
It's an interesting question, you know, because I think the answer is yes. I try to look at everything, but also from all sorts of different sources as well. Other epic films. I looked at a lot of the recent Star Trek movie. I thought was great, the J.J. Abrams one. How do you tell the story? And what I noticed basically is that they work when there's a really strong point of view and when the characters are taken seriously. And I don't mean solemnly, but just that you bear that in mind and you have that kind of, you put something right at the center of the movie. It's got to be about something, and so that's what we try to find with Thor.
Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. I come from a place where they're one and the same.
So I've got to ask, whenever you play a character who kind of has to struggle with his arrogance and he has to learn humility, how do you yourself not lose humility in the process? Because I mean, you're looking at the posters and you're looking at the video games and the toys and you're the face of this campaign.
Yeah.
How do you not walk down the street and go like, hey, I'm Thor?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's sort of, you either are that way or you're not. You know, I don't know that the sort of the business or fame or whatever it makes you a certain way. You know, I think it just magnifies what you already are. For me, that stuff is it's all very odd and sort of surreal. You know, and having fun with it. You know, you sort of the action figures and whatever. You know, my older brother has a younger daughter, and she runs around with the action figure, and it's hilarious. You know.
Would you never use it? Like if you and another guy were battling over a parking space, would you never
pull out the action figure and be like, what's the problem?
I'm Thor.
No.
Come on, I would, man. Let me do it.
Throw the action figure at him, mate.
Absolutely, and I think this Marvel movie, more than any other up to this point, people are starting to think about the Avengers because they start filming and then it'll be there next summer. Were there things that did they come to you and say, okay, you need to kind of set it up this way, or you need to include this to make sure that it kind of connects with the Avengers later on?
Well, Marvel was smart enough, I think, to say, basically, get Thor right. You could go bring us your version of Thor, let's try and craft that, and then as we work that out, maybe there'll be ways to intersect. Maybe there'll be ways to bring the world of Sam Jackson's Shield and Clark Gregg into the mix. But I didn't feel the pressure of it, and frankly, I couldn't have coped with it. I simply couldn't have handled it. I'm fascinated as a viewer. I'll be the first one in line for the Avengers, and I love seeing the way all these things interweave. It's amazing film kind of idea, but I could only cope with the one thing at a time, which was Thor.
And I remember when even Iron Man 2, when I saw it last summer, and I think they make a comment like, we've got a New Mexico situation.
Well, remember.
And I thought that is, whenever you saw that, were you like, hey, that's my movie?
Yeah, no, I gave Jon Favreau a call, said thanks very much. That's great. I was excited to hear that.
He has disobeyed his king. His fate is in his own hands now.
When you look at the theme of brother versus brother kind of goes back for centuries. It's something that's kind of been there from Cain and Abel to
Absolutely.
Even Shakespeare. So many works of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And it's, if anything, it just shows that for every great force, there's something that great force has to overcome, and then Thor has to overcome
Absolutely.
Loki.
Yeah.
For you to get here, in this movie, you're sitting here at the junket, everyone's excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
What kind of force did you have to overcome to be right here?
Oh man, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I guess I had to convince the producers to give me the job. I mean, I had a funny route into it in a way, which is I was born with blonde hair, much like yourself, but it's sort of less tidy, more Gene Wilder from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
And that's why you're in the movie and not me.
There you go. Because I'm 6'2" and I had blonde hair, I was tested for the role of Thor, like every other blonde 6-foot English-speaking actor in the world, and so I actually put on 25 pounds before my screen test, and then Kenneth Branagh took me out for breakfast and said, actually, I think you're a better fit for Loki. Would you mind losing all that weight that you put on? I was like, yeah, sure. So I guess I had a feat of physical endurance to overcome. But, I feel so lucky. I genuinely feel so lucky to be here, to be in this film, to be alongside Chris Hemsworth and Anthony Hopkins and Natalie Portman and Idris Elba, these powerful, powerful actors, the greatest actors in the world. I can't quite believe it. I'm still pinching myself.
Whenever Kenneth told you that he thought you'd be a better fit for Loki, what kind of emotion is that? Because I feel like it'd be kind of bittersweet. Like you'd be excited because you got the role of Loki, but was there any disappointment of like, I kind of wanted Thor?
Well, and he said it in such an extraordinary way, which was that he wasn't sure at the time how Thor was reading on the page as a character, and actually in the script he felt that Thor was the most or he was uncertain about actually the kind of actor he needed, but he said he knew he wanted with someone with an immediately physical intensity, and that he was very sweet about my qualities. About I sort of just, I talk to you, Tom, I see you on tape, and all I can see is your intelligence, and I think that's what we need for Loki, and that's harder to find. So. And then he went off and found Chris Hemsworth, and as soon as I met him, I was like, this man is made out of granite and molten rock. And he is delivered as Thor in a way that I could never have dreamed. So.
I was thinking you've probably told Chris things that's going to stick with him for the rest of your life, even if you may not have realized it. Your first movie, you were with Peter O'Toole. Was there anything that he told you on set that has stuck with you till this day?
O'Toole? God, that was a long time ago. He was one of the great actors. He said, never get on a horse. If you don't ride, don't get on a horse, ever. So I fell off a horse on the film, smashed my arm. So, no, I think... I said to Chris, I said, this great thing is... because obviously he's going to become a big movie star after this. He already is that. And I don't think he'll ever lose his modesty. I dropped a hint about that. I said, never lose that, because that's his power. And I think the great star actors are the ones who are good, decent people. Spencer Tracy was very Gable, all those guys. They were just easygoing, and I don't know what they really like, but that's what I'm told. Barbara Stanwyck, all those American actors, those people, they were very easy. They didn't pull stunts. And Chris is like that, and so is Tom Hiddleston, and Colm Feore, and Natalie Portman. I've never met Natalie, but because it's a job. There's nothing to it. Learn your line, show up and do it. People make a big stew about it all, but it's not. It's a job. It's an entertainment, and I like to work with people who are like that. Branagh's typical of that. He'll just push you and get the best out of you.
I will end this.
How is Thor going to be different from the Thor we're seeing now versus the Thor that we're going to see next year in the Avengers?
It's an evolution as you want it to be. It's in a different environment, obviously. It's sort of different challenges. He's in amongst a group of people that have sort of big egos like he does. They're the Iron Man and Captain America and the Hulk, and powerful and impressive characters. And so, the attempt to sort of form some sort of alliance is going to be tension-filled. That's